Hello and welcome into Pick 6. Manish bailed on us again this week, so I'm Marshall and I'm taking over for host duties as well as being a panelist. We got some great games here this week, so let's meet our panel.
Alright, my name is Simrath. I'm back. I'm the second member of this all-experienced crew we have this week.
Hi, I'm Steven, and this is my first appearance this year, and yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Alright, well, we start off with New England at Buffalo. Buffalo somehow 2-0 this season, but New England's been on a tear as well. What do you guys think?
Well, I think Buffalo's been a nice story, Ryan Fitzpatrick and them all, but I think you just have to look at their roster. David Nelson, Donald Jones, CJ Spiller, that defense, I can't see it keeping up. You have Tom Brady on the other side, who's setting records. He actually did it against two pretty good defenses. Now he gets to go against Buffalo. He might throw for 1,000 yards the way things are going right now. I think the Patriots will expose the Bills' flaws and take it pretty easily, actually.
To me, the main reason why the Patriots have done so well and why Tom Brady has done so well is because he's had so much time in the pocket. If you look back at the games, it's ridiculous how much time he has in the pocket. And the Patriots actually have a new center this week, Dan Connolly, and if he can't keep it together, I think Tom Brady's going to have a lot of trouble. But, you know, the Patriots, they're always great, and Buffalo, this game won't be any different. Tom Brady will throw for another 400 yards. I think the Patriots will win.
Well, surprisingly, these are two of the top 3 scoring offenses in the league. When I say surprisingly, I'm not referring to New England. I'm, of course, referring to Buffalo, who saw this coming, let's be honest. And they are going against New England, who has the 31st ranked defense in the NFL through 2 games. So this could possibly be a better matchup than we think. Yet, as my fellow panelists have said, the difference comes down to Tom Brady. And as much as I want to pick Buffalo, I just can't see it happening. I'm picking the Patriots. All right then, let's move on to our second game of the week. Always throwing Big East showdown, the Giants at Philly. Last time these two hooked up ended up being the Miracle at the Meadowlands Part 2. What are we looking for in store for this one, guys?
Well, I'm not expecting any miracles here. I just don't think the Giants are very good. They lost pretty badly to the Redskins in Week 1, and the Rams had some success, but they had to keep kicking field goals in Week 2. I think the Eagles are much better than they were last year when they beat the Giants both times. The Eagles haven't lost to the Giants in 3 years. I think that trend continues. I think Michael Vick is just too much in that offense, and I think defensively they'll have enough answers for the Giants, who aren't completely healthy, and Eli Manning has been up and down a little bit of late. So I'll take the Eagles pretty handedly here.
Every time these two teams play, it always seems to be the best game of the week. It always seems to be close no matter what the projections were going into this game. In my opinion, Eli Manning is absolutely terrible. I think Peyton is actually playing better than Eli right now, and Peyton's not even playing. The key for me this week, if Michael Vick is healthy, he has practiced the last 2 days. If he can play, I think the Eagles will win. But, you know, like I said, between these two teams, games are always close. I would not be surprised at all if Deshaun gets another punt return for a touchdown as the game expires.
If only we were so lucky to see that one again. Well, I mean, if you've been watching the show at all, you know who I'm going to pick in this one. But it's with good reason. Vic's going to be back. He has tons of offensive weapons, and he's going to get up against the Giants D, who has been riddled with injuries. On the offensive side of the ball, they lost Manningham, they lost Hickson. These guys are banged up. I don't even know if they could face the Eagles on their best week. They're definitely not going to be able to face them now. Eagles win. All right, on to the third game of the week. We have Houston at New Orleans. Houston's gone to a really good start this year, and they're looking for their first 3-0 start ever. Meanwhile, the Saints looking solid as always. What do you guys think?
Well, Houston's always had a good offense, but the talk the first 2 weeks has been the defense. It's really stepped up, but now they actually play a good offense. They don't get Kerry Collins and Chad Henne anymore. They get Drew Brees in that offense. And I don't think it'll go so smoothly when they actually have to play a good offense. I think the Saints at home, their offense will do what they have to do. I think defensively, they can hold up enough. I still think the Saints are another level above the Texans, so I'll take them this week.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Saints are going to win this game as well. I'm just not sold yet on Ben Tate. You know, it looks like Foster's not going to play, so Tate's going to have to play again. I just don't think he's that great yet. I don't think he'll be able to run on the Saints. And this is going to be a shootout with the quarterbacks, Matt Schaub and Drew Brees, obviously, so it's going to be throwing most of the time. But the key player for me is Darren Sproles. I have him on my fantasy team, and he's combined for like 38 points in both weeks, and I haven't started him yet. I don't know why. But I'm probably going to start him this week because I think he's going to have a good game, and I think he'll be the reason the Saints win.
Well, Steven, just a little fantasy tip. I'm not a big fan of Darren Sproles. I had him on my fantasy team too, had him on the bench, traded him this week, got a good tight end for him. I really don't think he's going to be that much of a difference maker. The real difference maker in this game would be Arian Foster. If he was in the game, I think the Houston Texans have a real chance at this. However, he's still a little shaky with that hamstring. He may not be back. Ben Tate looked solid last week, but can he do it again? I don't think so. I think that's going to be the reason the Saints will win in a shootout.
Sorry I'm late, guys, but I'm going to make my first debut as host today, filling in on Game 4, Green Bay at Chicago. Guys, who do you have for this game?
Well, there's been a lot of talk this week about how Jay Cutler can't survive this season. He admitted himself he doesn't even know if he can survive all the pass rush. Their offensive line looks terrible. And Green Bay, they have some weapons they can throw at him. However, I am picking the Bears in this game. I think all the talk about their offensive line, those guys are going to be ashamed of themselves, and they're going to step up. Nobody wants to be talked about like this all week, about how terrible they are and how they can't protect their quarterback. I think, if anything, they're going to step up. And Green Bay's secondary, meanwhile, is banged up, not looking good. I think Jay Cutler can pick them apart. I'm going to take the Bears at home.
Well, this is actually a rematch of last year's NFC Championship game. The teams played 3 times last year. The only time the Bears won was when the Packers completely imploded. I think they set some kind of team record with 18 penalties. I think it's going to take the same kind of explosion to truly lose this game. Turnovers, giving up big plays, penalties. The Packers' pass defense hasn't looked very good the first 2 weeks. And the solution is playing the Bears, who look even worse trying to throw the ball off their offensive line and receivers. Aaron Rodgers will do his thing. He doesn't have to put up big numbers, but he just has to play a solid game. And I think the defense can take care of the rest, pending some huge breakdown.
I'm going to take the Packers to win this game. I think the Bears will make it close because it seems that whenever the Packers play the Bears, they never seem to play their best. It's probably because the Bears' defense is really good, and somehow Matt Forte, he can just turn it on like nobody's business. He's actually done pretty well the first 2 weeks. I think he'll do well again. But I think the Packers will just outlast the Bears at Soldier Field.
All right, for our 5th game, we have Atlanta and Tampa Bay. Do you guys think Tampa can make another comeback like they did last week?
Well, there's been a lot of hype surrounding the NFC South at the beginning of this year. Obviously, Atlanta and New Orleans both looking to come back again and have strong seasons. And Cam Newton seems to be coming out of nowhere and looking great for Carolina. Yet Tampa Bay has kind of slipped under the radar. And people forget they were a 10-6 team last year and almost went to the playoffs. I think they are just as good this year. They're just taking a little slow to get started. But you saw in the second half last week, they can still play. LeGarrette Blount looks good. Josh Freeman can still play. And Atlanta's D, despite winning that game, they still look pretty vulnerable against the Eagles. I think they're going to lose this one. I think Tampa Bay pulls that at home.
Well, I think this is actually the hardest game of the week to pick. Both these teams haven't looked particularly good the first 2 games of the year. They both are lucky they're not 0-2. Last year, Tampa Bay could have made the playoffs. They were up double digits in the 4th quarter to Atlanta at home. They found a way to blow it. I think they'll get some revenge this week. I don't really trust Atlanta. They haven't looked good the first 2 weeks at all. I think Tampa Bay at home and Josh Freeman can be enough of a difference for them to win.
Yeah, I agree. This is definitely the hardest game to choose from. Both these teams, you never really know what you're going to get. I mean, last week Matt Ryan took the beating of a lifetime against the Eagles. I didn't think he was going to be able to finish that game, but he came back, and with the help of Turner and White, he was able to win that game. I think Atlanta's going to win. I think Matt Ryan finally, he's on track, he's where he needs to be, and Turner's just going to get better every week. And I think Atlanta is going to win at Tampa Bay.
For the last game this week, we have Washington at Dallas. Do you guys think Washington can stay undefeated and get a win?
Well, who would have thought that when Rex Grossman pronounced that the Redskins were going to win the NFC East, that they might actually look like they were going to do such a thing at the beginning of the year. They're going for the first 3-0 start since, I believe, 2005, and they have a new fire and aggression about them. D'Angelo Hall comes out and says he's going after Tony Romo. He's going to try and break another rib. So that's something we haven't seen from them before, and I think it'll translate into a win here. I think that Tony Romo, even if he comes back, he's not going to be as sharp as he usually is. He doesn't have Miles Austin to throw to this week, maybe not Felix Jones. I think this is a perfect situation for the Redskins to come in and steal one.
I think this is interesting here. Good old rival we have here on Monday night. I like the Redskins 2-0 start. They've done some good things, but bottom line is it's still Rex Grossman, Tim Hightower, Santana Moss, Fred Davis. Still not the ideal combination. So I think my pick will be simple by this formula. If Romo plays, I think they'll win. If Romo doesn't play, along with Des Bryant and Miles Austin's injuries, I don't think they'll win. I think Romo plays, so I think they'll win.
I never thought I'd say this, but Rex Grossman is here to stay. I mean, I can't believe I'm actually going to pick the Redskins to win this game. I have never, ever trusted Rex Grossman to do well, but, you know, he seems to be doing really well. He's on pace to get over, like, 4,200 passing yards, something like that. And the Cowboys, it's just their fault for getting injured. You know, this just is not their week. When they play the second time, if they aren't injured anymore, I think the Cowboys will win, but it's the Redskins' week this week on Monday night.
Well, guys, that's it for Pick 6 this week. Tune in next week where we have 6 more games, and thanks for watching.